Excuse me. Pardon me. Come on.
Hey, sit down.
So my favorite movie in the Cornetto Trilogy is Hot Fuzz, by far. I mean, Shaun of the Dead is a great movie as well, but Hot Fuzz is just so dense, so intelligently packed with jokes. There are setups done in the first minutes of the movie that have payoffs later on in the film. There are setups within shots that have payoffs and punchlines at the end of scenes. Every scene in the movie has about 7 or 8 gags going on that takes multiple watches to get, and the movie is so full of high energy and zaniness that it's completely infectious. I just can watch that movie over and over again and just have a great time and even notice things that are new every time I watch. I think ultimately one of the things I like so much about Hot Fuzz is that it reminds me of those classic 80s spoofs from Zucker, Abrams, and Zucker, like Airplane, Kentucky Fried Movie, Top Secret, Naked Gun. You know, they're just films that understand the genres that they're lampooning, and they make compelling movies that don't rely simply on the tropes of the genre or through pop culture references. I mean, these are just wonderfully made comedy movies that work as just movies in general. So yeah, Hot Fuzz is my favorite, well, by far, with a bullet.
And for me, I'm going to put my money down on Hot Fuzz. And it's not because I necessarily think it's a better film. I love both of them. But for me, I just have a lot more familiarity with the police world because my dad's a retired cop. So I, as a kid, saw a lot of people asking them ignorant questions. Not quite as ignorant as, ever jumped through the air whilst firing 2 guns at once or anything like that. But that kind of question, that sort of curious ignorance happened a lot. So that's something that I can relate to. But also, when you look at just from a pure spoof perspective, each of those movies, I tend to like action comedies a lot more than I like horror movies. I have watched and enjoyed films in both areas, but I have more of a familiarity with the action comedy world. So I tend to like any movie that is in that general bucket and anything that really makes fun of that.
I think which film from the Cornetto Trilogy you think is the best probably depends at least somewhat on your most preferred genre from within it. I don't think very many people are going to prefer The World's End as much as I love the movie, but it doesn't reach the level of excellence that Hot Fuzz did. I still haven't figured out where I stand on it versus Shaun of the Dead. I've talked to people who vastly prefer Shaun of the Dead to Hot Fuzz, and I think part of that comes from the fact that they probably like zombie movies a lot more than they like buddy cop action movies, and I like buddy cop action movies a hell of a lot more than I like both zombie movies and sci-fi movies. Where you fall on sort of that genre triangle will probably define how you feel about each individual film. From a purely technical standpoint, The World's End is by far the best. The movie's gorgeous. It's incredibly well done. From a cohesiveness perspective, I think that Hot Fuzz is definitely the best. I think Shaun of the Dead is the best at having been first. I think that's really what Shaun of the Dead has going for it. I mean, it's really funny. It's an amazing movie, but it's like, it's not as good as Hot Fuzz. And it couldn't be. Because Hot Fuzz is just basically perfect in, like, every way. The World's End is pretty good, though. And so is Shaun of the Dead. They're all really good. Especially Hot Fuzz.